Nite with Kendra Dawsey. And now, here's your host, Kendra Dawsey.
Hey, what's good?
Not much. What's good with you?
Nothing. I'm just chilling, just hanging out in the apartment.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have a ring light now. I've made our
Yes.
show look a little bit more professional.
Yeah, I noticed you got a ring light, and my ring light broke. If anyone is watching and knows, so it's not the actual bulbs that are broken. It's the part that connects the ring to a pole. I don't know how to fix it. I am not a handy lesbian. If you know how to fix it so that my beautiful face is illuminated, please reach out. We could do some mutual aid. I could give you a squash or something important.
Yeah, that would work out.
Yeah.
So besides squash and handy lesbians, what's on your mind this week?
Man, I could tell you what's on my mind this week, Zach. So according to newspapers across the country, there's a terrifying thing rising in America. And no, it's not the average daily temperature of July or the prevalence of the Delta variant. No, it's not even Biden's dick after he screws around with another exploited country. It is, allegedly, the crime rate. In the wake of the George Floyd protests last year and calls to defund the police, the mainstream news media have been trying to convince people that not giving cops tons of money is actually a bad idea. And they are doing this through the narrative of constantly increasing violent crime. Recently, New York has become the first state in the U.S. to declare an emergency to tackle increasing levels of gun violence, directing extra funds for programs aimed at preventing lethal and non-lethal shootings. And while it is true that murders from gun shootings have gone up in the U.S. since 2020, it is down from an all-time high in the 90s. Additionally, when you look at the numbers, violent crime overall, which is defined as oh my God, I lost the script. I'm sorry. It's defined as rape, aggravated assault, murder, and robbery. That has actually decreased. It's predominantly murders that have gone up. So that's a little bit of some good news. But current increases in crime seem to be linked to the rise of gun sales and are concentrated in areas that were already bearing the brunt of austerity and lack of funding before the pandemic, namely Black and brown urban communities. So let's think about what we talk about when we talk about crime. For a country allegedly run by adults, the US has an awfully childlike understanding of good guys and criminals. The truth is, a lot of the drivers for crimes are socioeconomic. It's easy to place people in the box of criminals and say that they are deserving of punishment instead of looking at what causes people to commit crimes. A lot of the reasons why someone may turn to, say, armed robbery as a way to potentially earn money may include existing poverty and perceived lack of options to escape it. If you have a felony for drug use and you find it very hard to gain employment, you may turn to alternative economies. But if you're white and or you grew up in the suburbs, these circumstances could seem very different from anything that you have experienced. Regardless, the reality is it is a common occurrence for lots of people in the US. And also, let's be real. If you've ever ran a stoplight, gave a horse ice cream on Boston Common, or smoked an L in the back of a Benz Z, you are technically a criminal. You just didn't live in a place with high police presence, or you are right, so the cops don't care much about your crimes. As we've discussed before, the police aren't actually that good at stopping crime, or even solving it. The way to reduce crime rates isn't to give police more guns or money, it's to put funding into programs that reduce socioeconomic reasons for committing crimes. We don't need a pay raise for the guys who stand outside your apartment after it was robbed and say, sorry about that. Beyond that, there are many instances of harm perpetuated in our society that aren't considered crimes at all, or even if they are rarely prosecuted. An estimated $287 million were taken for wage theft in 2019, but cops aren't going to storm into your employer's office and make them pay the money back. Letting people die on the street is also murder, but isn't considered a crime when the government just lets it happen. But a Black dude standing outside some business, finable offense. So this is all to say the rise in murders in cities is a very serious issue, but CNN reporting on it to white audiences in middle America they're not doing it to help people. They're doing it to push back on community calls to defund the police, despite having no idea what it is like to live in a place with heavy police presence. And separate from all of this, separate from the main point, there are also some crimes that are kind of cool, like shoplifting from a Walgreens. That's fine. Loitering, also very hip. But you should definitely do that because all those things are not as bad as whatever people in government are doing every single day of our lives. And we'll be back after this commercial break.
Hey folks,
or there might not be a commercial break.
Our new episode of Left Night. Just want to take a quick moment to shout out one of our sponsors today, which is Tony's Patriotic Goods. Tony's Patriotic Goods had their big blowout sale last week, leading up to the 4th of July, and a lot of people think that means that they can stop buying patriotic goods after the 4th is over. Well, guess what? You got to keep buying it because you people love this shit, okay? You love this America shit. We're talking about flags. We're talking about flags on shirts. We're talking about flags on swimsuits. We're talking about flags on napkins, plates, all of this shit. You people gobble this up. So get more flag shit from Tony's. Tony's got some fireworks. Tony's got some hot dogs that are left over. Joey Chestnut only ate 76. So he said he might eat up to 100. So Tony's got like 24 hot dogs he's got to offload. So help him out. Buy this. You people love your patriotism. You got to help this guy out, okay? He's got a lot of supplies that he's still got to offload. You know, American flag pins, boom boxes that only play patriotic songs. Everything, you hogs, you eat this stuff up. And Tony needs to make some money to feed his family off of it. He was told that Americans love patriotism. He's not an American. He's a Singapore national. But he has to sell this stuff to you people because you love it. So go ahead and buy some stuff from Tony's Patriotic Goods.
Man, the biggest plot twist I've ever heard was you saying that Tony was not Italian. I'm surprised that he's from Singapore.
Yeah, hey, Tony. There is an international community of Tonys.
I have a father who is a Tony, who is not Italian. So you're right.
Yeah, so but he is part of the Tonys as a group.
Yeah, I'm half Tony on my father's side. It's very. So I get how it feels like to be a Tony. You know?
All right, so we're going into everybody's favorite segment of Things Are Happening, where we are going to talk about some stuff that has happened in the last week. And if you in the chat think there's something that happened in the last week or last couple of weeks, took some weeks off, something that happened recently that you feel like we got to talk about, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll try to get to as much as we can tonight. So the first thing I think we have to talk about is that the president of Haiti got assassinated.
Yes. So I wanted to know. I wanted you to kind of explain it to me because it's wild. It's obviously not great. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing because of your relations with Haitian people, you may know a little bit more.
Yes. You should just say that my girlfriend is Haitian. When you say
I didn't want to blow up your spot. Maybe your mom is Haitian. I don't know your life.
Yes. So I've been doing some reading and talking to her, and the general idea that I get is that people in Haiti did not like this guy.
Yeah.
And he was definitely seen as sort of like a U.S. puppet, which is interesting because it seems like everybody has some inklings towards some Americans were involved in this assassination. So I don't know if basically America had a chance to get rid of the most recent president through sort of they could have his term ran up, and he was arguing that he still had one more year. And if America and and by which I mean the Biden administration, so it was this recently, they decided to say no, he's actually he does get the extra year. That's what we believe. And on one hand, of course, America should not be deciding that. That is not America's decision to make. But they do have a lot of influence, and very well could have said something then and chose not to. And it would be not that surprising in terms of how America feels about Haitians and Black countries in general, that they would say, "No, let's leave him in here. We can always just kill him later." Like,
yeah,
that's yeah.
So you're thinking it might have been the U.S. government?
I don't know exactly. Like I said, he was very much disliked.
He had a lot of enemies. Had a lot of people trying to drain him of his energy. Sounds like.
Right. And so basically there was a good president in the early 2000s that people generally liked. He was the last one that they liked, and what happened was the U.S. did not like him and basically caused him to flee the country. And then when he went to Africa, somebody took his passport. So he's just not allowed to come back.
Ooh,
I don't know where. I know Africa's not a country. I can't remember what country in Africa he went to. But yeah, so the last like real populist president has been stranded for a while, not able to return to the country.
Damn.
There was like a so-called student movement that I was reading about that opposed this populist president. And it was later shown that student movement had like CIA connections, and one of the members of that student movement is now the former prime minister and now acting president of
Haiti.
Of Haiti, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and he's also I wish I'd looked this up, but he has a weird title. Not only is he prime minister, but he's also the head of the Bureau of Defense and Worship.
That's an interesting combination of two things. That's like some Greek goddess shit. It's like, this is the goddess of defense, worship, and like ovens. Like that's a weird thing. Well, okay. Well, thank you so much, Zach, for illuminating a little bit about what's going on in Haiti.
Yeah. Again, you should just do some research, but also
we encourage people
to research from Haitians. Don't listen to whatever America says.
Yeah, Americans probably don't know. Also, like honestly, most of European and or Western countries did not like Haiti because it's the first country that started from like a slave revolt.
Right.
And there's a lot of treaties that Haiti was explicitly barred from since the beginning of like its creation,
and put into debt for freeing their slaves.
Yes, exactly.
And, it's very cool, I think, to kill slave masters.
I think so too. Honestly.
I don't think that should be uncontroversial to say, but the imperial powers really don't like it.
I wonder why. Why.
It's hard to say exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Haiti's cool. Vive Haiti that's how you say it in French, right? And God, we as in the U.S. government has been fucking with that country for so long. If they like wanted to fight us, I would get it. I get it.
Yeah. So also happening this week. What else? I mean, is it fun? Is it fun to talk about the Delta variant? Should we?
We should. I don't know why I could say that's fun about it. If you're not vaccinated, you probably should be. I think most of the deaths from COVID, I think like literally 99.5 of the deaths from COVID nowadays are from unvaccinated people. So if you don't want to die from COVID,
Yeah.
probably get vaccinated. Very simple thing. It's like free. I know there's a lot of weird rules at I know in Massachusetts you could get vaccinated for free, and if you have symptoms, you could get like some time off like through the state. I think you have to like talk to the state and your employer, but you are owed money if you have to take time off.
Yeah. You love that, because we can't make the person who employs you obviously can't pay you. So instead you have to put your submission through a underfunded bureaucratic mess, and then maybe in like 6 months you'll get that $140 or whatever.
It does suck. I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but technically you're like you
are entitled to it.
You are entitled to it. The Pfeiffer in the thread says, don't be dissuaded by the clickbait headlines that vaccines are less effective against variants. That is very true, especially at this point. The Pfizer vaccine, I think, is 88% effective against the Delta variant, against like, I think causing like death, which is really good. You have an 88% less chance of dying.
Death is the main thing we're avoiding.
Yes. So if you're vaccinated, you might still get COVID, but like the benefits of being vaccinated are that like your COVID case is going to be way more mild. So you're not going to like have like permanent lung damage like some people have been. It's going to feel like a cold, most likely, depending on obviously other things. And 2, you're less likely to spread it to people. So I would get it. I have gotten it. I encourage other people to get it. I know there was a headline that recently came out of Israel saying that the Delta variant was like 65% effective, but that like the way that statistics are shown in the media is very confusing. And I think there was another headline that came out of Israel that was like, oh, half of the people who are infected now got vaccinated, right? Or like, yes, that was the headline, but it was like, okay, like there's way more vaccinated people than unvaccinated people in Israel right now, except for Palestine.
Except for,
yes. So it was like maybe, I think it was like maybe like 10% of vaccinated people got coronavirus, and then like the rest of it was the unvaccinated. Basically, look into statistics. It's a good idea to get. Unless you like, I do not know why it would not be a good idea for you to get the vaccine unless you're like literally allergic to every single thing in it. Like, get the vaccine. That's what I have to say.
I think that one of the reasons why the Delta variant is so terrifying to a lot of people is that we all know we're not locking down again.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's not going to happen, unfortunately. And other countries like Canada and Australia, to my understanding, have sort of lifted and reinstated lockdowns.
They have localized lockdowns.
And we will not ever have that in this death cult of a country.
Yeah. You are so right. You are like, I think even if like, and like, I feel like in Massachusetts, so far in Massachusetts, Rachel said we were never locked down in the first place. That's also pretty true.
This is also true.
Yeah. I feel like in Massachusetts, we do have a higher enough vaccination rate that like, shit probably won't really go down until schools open up, because like if you're under 12 you can't get vaccinated at this point. But I think already in like Nevada and some places that tend to be conservative, and for whatever reason conservative ideology and anti-vax ideology has like kind of married itself, like Delta is already kind of like going through. But yeah, it's a good idea to get vaccinated so that we don't have like a mutation of coronavirus that evades all the vaccines. You're just making it harder for everyone if you're willingly not getting vaccinated.
It would be significantly better if everybody just got vaccinated.
Yeah, it would also be significantly better if all the countries who do not have large access to the vaccines finally did. That is another issue. You live in the imperial core, get the fucking vaccine. Like, come on, just do it. Just do it. If you're like, you're afraid of taking time off work, I will pay for it. I'll do it. Just like fucking get vaccinated. I'm tired of being in the house. I'm trying to have a hot girl summer. I can't have a hot girl summer if there's 5 COVID variants. Get fucking vaccinated.
Yep. I would agree with that. something that actually is I think this is good news. Actually, I would say objectively good news is that Rhode Island became the first state to legalize safe injection sites.
Hell yeah, Rhode Island.
Which I think is very cool. I mean, all I really know about Rhode Island is it's a very weird state.
It's very small.
It's very small, but it is a strange state. I feel like there's just something very strange about it. So hopefully this is not too strange. This is something that will go to the rest of the country. But yeah, it's there have facilities now where people can have their I guess heroin mostly. That's going to be, it can be tested, and they're given clean needles, and they're given a place to inject from because. On it, it's a lot of reactionaries are afraid of an idea like that, but all the numbers support the idea that it is helpful and keeps people healthy.
Yeah, it results in people not dying as often, especially if they could like test their drugs, and then like when they're there, that's where you could like connect them to resources where like if they decide that they want to stop using, you could be like, hey, like there's this resource, as opposed to waiting until they're in jail, which is not a good way to get off heroin. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I hope Rhode Island gets weird in a positive way from something else that you could inject. I don't know if I would support heroin use, but do something else. I don't know. Have fun, Rhode Island. Be safe. Be safe. Get it tested.
Right. Rhode Island for a while had one of the worst COVID rates in the country. So make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Don't inject COVID. Inject something more fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, inject the vaccine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely inject the vaccine. Yes. What else is going on? I guess we have like time for one more thing.
Yeah. Do we have anything in the chat right now?
No one's saying anything. Actually, yeah, there's not even Quarantine Action Wrestling. I could take this network hostage. Like, what are people gonna do? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, tell us some stuff. We may have completely left Afghanistan.
Oh, true. That did happen. It's hard for me to believe, but The Onion did write a satire piece about it, so it did happen, which is wild.
Yeah.
In the middle of night without telling everyone. I think there's already reports of the Taliban becoming more prominent in Afghanistan, and we basically were like, good luck to you. So that is going to be a geopolitical a geopolitical quagmire.
So, that's the thing. On some level, the U.S. has sort of capped out in terms of they can't worry about like anti-American sentiment rising anymore, or like from them leaving. They it's already the best thing that they can do, and they're going to leave troops because America doesn't ever leave anywhere.
We're still in Korea. Like, wow.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna still maintain a military presence, but the less of America that is infecting, I talk about a vaccine. Some of these countries need to be given a vaccine to inoculate them from American troops. They are an infestation.
We really are, Zach. You could say that again. Yeah, America is kind of like a really shitty ex-boyfriend, and like you don't like them, and you try to break up with them, and they're like, no, I want to stay together, babe. And then they finally leave like all of their shit in your apartment. Like, that's America. That's us. It sucks. They leave all their shit and like thousands of militarized troops.
Right.
And then they're like, sorry about the herpes. Like, that's the US.
That's America.
That's America. That's us. We have herpes. The entire country. So, Zach, do you have any closing remarks for us this evening?
I do have some closing remarks, and it's actually interesting because we've actually run a theme here for the past 10 minutes or so that it's been very sort of medically related. So we were off for the last 2 weeks because I was working on my final, and something bad happened while I was working on my final, writing about how to better pedestrianize different parts of the city. something tragic happened. My grandmother got hit by a car, and she's alive thanks to modern medicine and being one of the hardest working people out there. But it was rough for her for that to happen. She's in her 80s. But one thing I learned is it took a lot of donated blood to make sure that she made it through that. And there are huge blood shortages right now. So I'm just asking if you can, and I know that they make it very hard in this country for a lot of people to do it. If you can donate blood, I would consider doing that, because you can always make more of it very easily without trying. And they don't have a lot of it because COVID slowed down the whole entire process of getting blood donations. So my mom, she's the one who got me this ring light, and she also wants that message to be spread right now because it was her mother that is making it through because of blood donations. So go out there and remember to be positive, unless you're O negative. I'm sorry, that was awful.
Oh, well, yeah, Zach, that is a really good message. Yeah. Does your grandma have like a GoFundMe that we could post in the comments?
No, there's nothing like that right now. I mean, she is of that age that she's on Medicare, so that makes her luckier. I mean, yeah. It's a worse time to be hit by a vehicle, but there's really no good time for that.
Yeah. There's never an ideal time.
And so as of right now, medical expenses are not the thing we're worried about. We just want to make sure that everybody else can have access to blood.
Great. Yeah. So MGH has a lot of blood donation centers. If you are like me and you're a low iron bitch, you go to a blood donation center. They do give you, if they're like, oh, your iron's a little too low, they will give you like some tablets so that you take them over a few weeks and then you could get it again. But there's a way. Even for people who are anemic, they still want your blood. Just eat like some steak and some spinach, and then get in there. So yeah, thank you so much, Zach, for talking about that. Because and also like don't hit people with your car. I feel like that's a pretty good message too.
But also a good message, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in after our brief break. We are, it's the summer. We're on 2MB Studios. They have a Patreon. You should definitely like donate to that Patreon. And we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.